question. Heru, you talked about timing, and with regard to cryptocurrencies, because it seems to be, it's interesting, the two of you are sitting next to each other. You're almost like polar opposites. And but what I'm noticing is, like I agree with what you're saying, but now I have children who are millennials, and I understand what Joel is saying about they're thinking differently about how to approach life and how to govern themselves. Do you think that with that happening, that, they're going to discover a new way of doing things that's just going to leave what we older people have established?
I think no for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
One, when you're that age, you're invincible and you always think you have a better way.
True.
And we have to understand that there are things that are tried, true, and tested. Although they innovate, the fundamentals are the same. And I go back to, again, when we talk about when you're new in something, and this goes for millennials or anybody else, we try to take the path of least resistance, and we try to take the shortest route. And the fact that he stood up here and said that there have been swings of 600% in a month returns, emotionally that sounds good to me. And so they say, well, it's worth a chance. Let me throw my money in this one. And one of the issues I kind of had, he threw these 5 or 6 uber rich people up there who have money to throw away, who he said invested in cryptocurrency, but he didn't say they all lost their money too. Right? So we have to really understand the psychology of the whole cryptocurrency. So it appeals to people who are not sophisticated in investing. It appeals to people who are poor. It appeals to people who feel disenfranchised. It appeals to people who are anti-government, right? And so it has all those elements there. But it also has an element that's attractive to millennials because it's like a video game, right? So you have to mine it. You kind of play it. It's like a big game. And so there's a big draw when you don't know. And so when you get a little older and you understand the fundamentals of how money is made, there's no quick money that lasts. Right? And when you can't clearly explain, and it's funny that you threw up intrinsic value, he threw it up for me, because I was telling him there's no intrinsic value in a Bitcoin. He did, y'all didn't know, that was the inside. I said there's no intrinsic value in a Bitcoin. I can tell you what makes real estate go up. I can tell you, when you talk about stocks, I can tell you why a company's value increases, therefore increasing its stock value. I can tell you what would make a product or service sell or be increase in value. Nobody has been able to explain to you, except for irrational exuberance, why a cryptocurrency or Bitcoin has gone up in value. And so if you don't know why it goes up, you don't know why it goes down. And those swings like that are utterly ridiculous, and I think it preys upon poor people who are looking for like a lottery type winning. Because as humans, again, we don't want to take the time to understand the fundamentals of how to make money. And when you understand the fundamentals of how to make money, you run from cryptocurrency. All speculation, not an investment at all.
Joel, it's funny Heru is saying what he's saying, and I know we have to wrap. Heru, our brother said 2 weeks ago that cryptocurrency is like back in the 80s when the pyramid schemes were coming in, and that's what this is reminding him of. And like Heru, he's a big investor, Joel, and he just wasn't seeing it either. But isn't this interesting, Joel, that we're having these kinds of conversations? Wouldn't it be great that you show up next year and you tell us you're now a multi-millionaire?
I would love to hear that.
From your Bitcoins?
However,
well, Joel, can you kind of respond to that? Yeah. You mind?
Look at Joel Ryan. We out of time, but go ahead.
I think it's important to see both sides.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Joel.
Me and her will go back and forth with this like every single time like we see each other.
Yeah.
So So like, all right. It was right? You have to don't invest nothing you don't understand.
Right.
Right. So me, before I invested $1, I invested hundreds of hours learning about this. Right. So I just didn't throw my money randomly thinking I was going to get rich the next week. Right. So I took my time to really understand the technology and the potential behind this. Right. Now, why does it go up in value? Speculation. It's definitely speculation, and I'm not arguing against that. But at the same time, it's just because this is such a big technological innovation and the potential to dramatically change our global society. Not just a nation, not just a city, our global society. So the expectation is Bitcoin to be a global currency. That doesn't exist. And Bitcoin is now starting to serve as that, pretty much.
I got to rebut.
Go ahead.
Wait, because let's be real. Nobody's using it as a currency.
That's what I'm saying. How do I use
The only people using it as a currency are black market people who are trying to hide their money, who are trying to launder money. People who buy it to hold on to because they think it's an investment. So it's not acting as a currency. So to assume it'll replace a currency when it's not acting as a currency, I think is real speculation. And what we're not paying attention to is what government will allow it to replace their currency when that gives that country power. So the United States will not allow Bitcoin to replace the US dollar. China will not allow Bitcoin to replace their currency. No country who wants to hold on to its power, its place, will allow its economic engine to disappear.
And the currency.
And young people don't have the power to do that.
So I look at Bitcoin as
You got to get it out, right? I was going to let it pass.
you know, at the end of the day, look, this type of conversations will always happen.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's between me and Heru or companies or executives, these conversations always happen. At the end of the day, the market is going to decide who's going to be the winner. And so, you know, I have my bets on crypto assets. The way I look at Bitcoin and all these crypto assets is like a train. A train that's not going to stop moving. Either you're going to be with it or you're going to be destroyed by it. Because that's how fast this is moving. And that's how powerful this technology is. And that's how powerful this just is, period. Because of all the innovation has to be built on top.
So we're back to where Heru started then, time.
Yep.
We're at time.
Yep.
So we're going to have to give it the time to see how you're timing versus his
And
timing.
I'm glad he said bet. I'm not a gambler. I don't bet on anything. I learn the fundamentals, I assess the risk, and then I make a move based on that. And the Bitcoin people need to stop tying into the technology. Blockchain technology is not Bitcoin. Blockchain technology drives Bitcoin, but blockchain technology is used outside of Bitcoin. So if you're saying it's the technology, invest in the technology, not the Bitcoin.
Right.
Because the Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. The blockchain does.
Y'all got that? Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
so for starters, there wouldn't be any blockchain if there weren't any Bitcoin.
So,
The chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken? Which one? Is that
Well, the chicken came for the egg being Bitcoin. Now, on top of this, so you have to realize what is blockchain. You have to understand, this is why it's important to really understand what this is. So we can't really talk about it here if we don't understand what it is, right? Even at least conceptually, right? So what blockchain is a distributed ledger that tracks data, right? And Bitcoin is the most powerful and secure blockchain that exists.
banks are using blockchain now.
Yes, but the problem is, if you understand how blockchain works, so the way blockchains work is the idea is for it to be decentralized. If it's not decentralized, that means it's centralized, which means it's just pretty much the equivalent of being a regular database that is hackable, right? The idea is for this to be unhackable, right? And so that this information, the data can be not ever changing. If these banks and these companies are building centralized blockchains that are eventually going to be hacked, by people, which are going to make them obsolete. Which is then it reverts all back to Bitcoin being the true value because it proves itself to be unhackable. And this is where the value in that also
I'm
comes
going
back
to leave it
into
at that
play.
because you know that was a bunch of. No rebuttal
What a way
necessary.
for us to bring this panel to
Look,
an
I would
end,
say
right?
educate yourself. You don't have to
I
believe me,
agree.
but
Yes.
find out that information for
Find out
yourself.
for yourself.
And don't make an emotional decision, is all I say.
Well, family.
All right.